ask some relevant questions that may be helpful while characterizing or while scanning the patient and giving your opinion. So we'll just start with submental region. Come back because we know there is anterior thyroid. Next thing, I have made line from above downwards, and what you can see here is a thyroid gland almost occupying the screen. We'll make the trapezoid imaging on. Now we can see that there is apparent enlargement of the thyroid gland. They come down up to the supraclavicular region. So our first impression is that there is an enlargement of thyroid. We'll leave it here and just try to see other findings in the neck. We'll ask her to turn her neck on the other side, and as Dr. Sandeep has shown us, we'll try to see the submandibular region go to the parotid region, come back, and from the submandibular region we just follow the jugular vein down and try to see whether there are any lymph nodes here. Again, it is very simple. Keep your probe vertical in the transverse section. Just come down from the submandibular gland, follow the jugular vein. You will see thyroid medially, common carotid, other vessel, vagus nerve, lymph nodes. So if you follow this track, you will see most of the lymph nodes because you are covering right from level 2A, 2B, 3 and 3A and 3 level 3 rather, and 4 below the cricoid cartilage. So all three levels of lymph nodes can be seen. Just take the probe lateral to the sternocleidomastoid, come down and scan it till the clavicle. So this is your survey. So you have seen few nodes here, but they are very small, so need not take cognizance of those nodes because of the shape and other features, and again the size. So once you have seen the right side, just go to the left side and repeat the same thing. See the submandibular gland go laterally to the parotid. See them in two planes. This is parotid, retromandibular vein coming medially. This is the submandibular gland, and then follow the jugular vein. Here you can see nodes around the jugular vein, multiple nodes, as neck has said to be having 300 or so nodes. So we can see only the larger ones or those who can be visible with high frequency ultrasound. So come down, you see here thyroid, and now we know that patient has generalized enlargement of thyroid and there are no significant enlarged lymph nodes on either side. So we come back to thyroid, we measure the isthmus, it is definitely enlarged. 8 to 9 millimeter is the normal, it is 9 millimeters. The thyroid gland maximum transverse and AP diameter, as Dr. Sandeep has told, the AP diameter is more what you can say significance, has more significance in detecting enlargement of thyroid. It is 2.1 centimeters, and the craniocaudal length we will measure here. It's from here to here, it is almost 5 centimeters. The isthmus enlargement shows the gland is enlarged, and if you see, the gland shows a uniformly heterogeneous ecotexture. The ecotexture is not normal. We know its thyroid shows homogeneous ecotexture, but here it is heterogeneous. And what the small hypoechoic areas you see, they are called pseudonodules. If we enlarge this, we may be able to see in a better fashion. It appears that there are multiple nodules, but they are not. They don't have significant margins, or they are not well defined. So they are called pseudonodules. And if we go longitudinally on the other side, you can see here there is one lesion here and there is one lesion here. So the patient has generalized enlargement of thyroid and there is one nodule here. This nodule is almost at the upper pole of left lobe and other hyperechoic nodule is at the lower pole. See the difference between two nodules. This nodule is small, very well defined. You can see in earlier thyroid's description there was a character called perifocal ring or perifocal hypoechoic area. So now it is not there in the ACR thyroids. If you measure this is a sub-centimeter nodule, very solid because of the size and the characteristics. We just mentioned it in our report that there is a sub-centimeter nodule at the lower left lobe of thyroid, measuring this much, showing solid area and all. Now coming here, the upper pole nodule. The upper pole nodule, you see it, we'll try to see in both planes. We'll divide the screen here. Keep our probe vertical so that we have a correct information about the nodule. So this is the nodule, mix section long, and again this is a, if you see completely now, the nodule measures almost 1.3 by 1.5 by 1 centimeters. So if you see in a transverse plane, at some point the height is more than the width. That is one point. Second, it is almost solid and doesn't have any cystic areas, barring one or two small, but it's predominantly solid lesion. The ecotexture, if we compare with the muscles, ecotexture is always compared with the neck muscles. It appears isoechoic. I think my students will agree that it is isoechoic. So if you score this lesion on the height, it will have three points, and in iso to hyperechoic it will have 1 point, and solid lesion again it will have 2 points. So the scoring is high, it goes up to 5 to 6 score, and then because the size is 1.5 centimeter, you must do a FNSE of the lesion. And once you find such suspicious lesions, always again scan, re-see the area where you can find out the lymph nodes. So we go back and try to see whether we have missed any small lymph nodes there on. So this is a small lymph node here. You can see that there is a calcification in that lymph node, and we try to see more characteristics. The lymph node apparently is not showing the echogenic hilum, though it has maintained its shape. The shape is what you can say ovoid. There is dense calcific focus at the lower portion. There are no apparent areas of liquefaction or necrosis. The margins of the nodes are quite well defined. So all ultrasound features except for loss of hilum, they indicate that it's a benign lesion. So we remove this trapezoid imaging, we put on color here and try to see whether there is a hilar vessel here. So hilar vessel should be single, it should enter from the hilum and it should branch uniformly. We'll try to reduce PRF to get more information. If you reduce PRF, you see that it shows the vessels, the small vessels with little flow or less flow, they also are seen. And you can see here there are vessels, there are multiple vessels in the long section. We'll just freeze this, take on the side, keep that picture with us. Now do scan it in transverse plane and try to see what we can see. The lesions near the lymph nodes near to carotid and jugular, sometimes you don't give you proper Doppler features, because as you see here, due to carotid pulsations, they are getting transmitted to the lymph node, and it is hindering our Doppler examination. So we try to reduce the sample size of the Doppler, color Doppler, and try to see whether there is a hilar vessel there. We couldn't find it on the longitudinal section. Here also, I'll go more laterally, try to avoid the jugular vein, maybe reduce further. If it won't, I'll increase the PRF little bit, so increase the gain, but you are not able to see a single vessel supplying the lymph node here. So we come back again to longitudinal section, try to see. So though the shape is maintained, the vascularity is not very uniform. So we can consider this lymph node on the basis of only Doppler findings. I am telling loss of hilum and abnormal Doppler findings. We can consider this as a suspicious lymph node, and while doing, we do FNA from here, we also do FNA from this lymph node. We'll just try to see other lymph node. This is a normal appearing lymph node. It has shows good hilum, echogenic hilum, and you can see that there is a hilar artery, and it shows a good distribution of uniform distribution or uniform branching of the hilar artery. We'll try to do a power Doppler here. Power Doppler can give you better information, more information. You can have very slow flow detection on power Doppler. So that is the hilar artery, very nicely seen. And if you increase the color flow, you may see that this is very small nodule. We can see these power Doppler findings in a regular nodule, regular lymph node rather, very nicely. So don't be afraid of color bleed outside. Concentrate on what you want to see, that is the lymph node, and now you can make out that the hilar artery branching is there. So we'll just see in some other patient in a normal size nodule again, but see the difference between this lymph node and this lymph node. They are definitely different, and considering that nodule, considering this thyroid nodule, you have to do FNAC of this lesion also. So this patient has thyroiditis and has two nodules in left lobe. One of them appears suspicious, and that needs further evaluation by FNAC or biopsy, as the case may be. FNACs are routinely done, and our role is to guide provide guidance by or we can do in under live visualization of needle, and that is the one advantage of ultrasound. Some people say biopsies should be done, but FNAC as such gives you quick results. Within 3 to 6 hours you can know whether there is the tissue or not. Definitely biopsy has got more tissue and it gives you more information, and the typing can be done by on the basis of थोडंसं वरती सरका, उशी खांद्याखाली येऊ द्या आरामात. So this is another lady. What is the history? Okay. Okay. So this is again a middle-aged lady, age 40 years. Since some months she has got anterior neck swelling. You can see it here that there appears a diffuse swelling in the region of thyroid. So we'll just start again from the submental region, because we know this, you can see that there is small lymph node here, though it is not of significant size. Echo texture is normal, but still you can identify smaller nodules and the hilum also. It is said the lymph nodes more than 6 mm they can show this hilar echo, and you should always try to find out. We are coming down, we'll add the trapezoid view so that we can see the thyroid gland completely here, and again all similar features what we had seen in that lady is a overall gland appears enlarged, and you can see a heterogeneous echo texture, and there is no focal nodule. This is the long section from the right lobe. There are multiple ill-defined hypoechoic areas. They can be taken as pseudonodules as they are called. And another you can add on is doing Doppler, adding a Doppler to this thyroid. You can see it all picks up color. We have not reduced the gain. This is the standard setting in the machine, and you can see that the gland itself shows quite significant vascularity. If you put color here, power Doppler here, and try to see, you see there is significant vascularity and is equal on both sides. As regards thyroiditis, many times patient comes with pain, a ill-defined pain in the anterior neck. There is no swelling as such, but the ENT surgeon or the physician, because of pain, he refers patients to us, and you can see that there is a ill-defined hypoechoic area, say in one lobe or one part of the lobe. That is not well defined as we see. The contour is maintained. It is well within the gland. Sometimes even the size is not increased. But that area takes up flow on power Doppler. Then we can definitely consider it as a focal thyroiditis. If you see, if it is visible on the video, look at her eyes. There is some element of proptosis, I think. Just Bipin, just उसके eyes दिखाओ. Look at her eyes. So looking at the patient, talking with the patient always helps us and getting the desired diagnosis. It improves your diagnosis in certain cases. So we go back to the jugular vein, follow it, and then come down. So there are not multiple nodes. So we see some lymph nodes, but they are not enlarged. And see this along the jugular vein, all this, what they used to call it jugulo-digastric, deep cervical, all these nodes. You can see them, and if required, you can put Doppler and try to see whether the vascular pattern is normal. मान इकडे वळवा. Just quickly do the other side. Again, you can see there are small nodes. There is a node here. I'll just increase the PRF, try to see. Node, there is hilum also. The shape is maintained, and can just, it is very close to the jugular vein. We'll reduce the box size and try to see the node itself. So that is the hilar vessel and with the branching there. So we know that this is a normal node. So make a habit of seeing the nodes, applying Doppler with changing settings and applying power Doppler. So whenever in doubt, then you can make it what is normal and what is abnormal. So this lady, clinically she must be diagnosed as thyrotoxicosis, looking at her eyes, and we know that there is a diffuse enlargement of thyroid with pseudonodules with increased vascularity. There sometimes you can get lymph nodes in level 3 due in thyroiditis cases. Sometimes it can be focal thyroiditis affecting one lobe or even part of the lobe, and that is the additional point you give to the clinician. So it in some cases the diagnosis is clinical, in some cases we add to the diagnosis, and in some cases we diagnose the cases. So that's how it works. इथेच झोपायचं आहे, मान तिच्या वरती ठेवा. She's an attendant working in the hostel, I think. So our students found to have her a large thyroid swelling. So this doesn't, such large lesions are not seen frequently nowadays. But you can see all the big neck swelling, mostly in the anterior and extending into the lateral side. I don't know whether we will be able to see any other thing than thyroid, but we'll again start in the midline, come down, and here is a big thyroid lesion. We'll try to see with linear whether we can see it. In such large lesions, our role is to define the origin of this lesion. Define the origin means whether it is what you can say bilateral enlargement of the thyroid or unilateral enlargement of thyroid. For that, you have to go in midline, come down, and try to follow the trachea. If you see here, this is trachea. Follow it, and you can see that right lobe is grossly enlarged. It is extending into the isthmus. And see this trachea. This trachea is compressed extrinsically on this side. See the trachea above. Trachea above. This shows a uniform shape. If you come down, the lesion has compressed the trachea extrinsically, and my probe, I have to shift on this side to see the trachea in the midline. If I keep on midline, the trachea goes out of focus. Trachea goes towards the left side. So it has shifted the trachea also. Two things these larger lesions do. They compress and deviation. You earlier used to do X-ray neck to see the shift of trachea, but ultrasound also can give you that information that this lesion has shifted it. And as it has shifted, then it should click to your mind that there must be predominant enlargement of the one lobe of the thyroid, and we then look for the where is the other lobe, what is happening to the left lobe of thyroid in this case. And if you try go laterally and try to find out if you see anything lateral to the trachea and anterior to the trachea. Now you see that, I think I'll magnify here, and we can see that this is a, what is this? This is the left lobe of thyroid, and that large lesion is on the right lobe and extending into the isthmus, and therefore this lobe is normal. Now this information on clinically this is not possible. So this information we need to pass to the surgeon that there is a unilateral involvement, and then he may proceed with hemithyroidectomy. Another important feature for large lesions you should always look for is the retrosternal extension. the if you see here, if you try to palpate, you cannot go below the lesion. Thunka gitka puna. No, only this part is moving, this part is not moving, so they cannot go below the swelling. So what they need to know is whether there is a retrosternal extension. For retrosternal extension, transversely you can go in the midline or paramidline, as the case may be. Because this is on the right side, we'll go right paramidline and try to see whether we can go below the swelling. We'll adjust our parameters little bit so that we can see it nicely and try to see whether we can see the lower margin of the enlarged lobe due to that large mass. I have made the probe in the long section and try to see whether we can see it. So it is very difficult here to see. This is acoustic due to sternum, and you cannot see the lower margin of the right lobe of thyroid. Not very clearly, probably it is here. So you can mention in your report that there is some amount of retrosternal extension of this large enlarged right lobe of thyroid. Now once we have seen the effects of the enlargement, now we go to the lesion proper. The lesion we have seen here appears a very huge. It has got multiple cystic areas. You can see there are macro calcifications. If we identify them, they are macro calcifications. This one, there are multiple macro calcifications. The solid part is there, predominantly solid you can call it. The predominantly solid lesions, this little bit hyperechoic than the strap muscles. So this is and then we need to look for whether there are multiple nodules or single nodule. The nodules appears a nodular mass, we can call it. It appears a single. In long section, if I come from superior to inferior, you can see that this is the margin quite well defined, and this goes down up to here. Whether there is two different lesions or single lesion, what we will do, because of the size of the lesion, we will just turn on our convex probe. That will give us a gross idea whether the lesion is the mass is single or mass is. There are two adjacent large nodules. So we adjusted the depth and see it. So what you see is here is this is a superior. From here up to here there is one nodule, and from here up to here there is another nodule. So there are two different nodules. You have to describe them, their features and their what you can say, their scoring. So such large lesions, it is better to do FNSC, and as we see in our lecture after this FNSC, there are certain things you should follow. Do not put needle into the cystic areas. It won't give you any cells. It will give you scoloid mostly. So target the solid area. Target the hypoechoic area, because we know hypoechoic thyroid nodules, they have more chances of malignancy. Okay, so what we will just quickly see whether there are any lymph nodes on, especially on the right side, because she has got a long standing right neck swelling. Submandibular, carotid, there are normal nodes, but their size is quite small. This level 2A node is quite big, but shows normal ecotexture shape. So we just take a note of them and come down, and we see here that it has extrinsically compressed the jugular as well as the carotid artery laterally. We'll just try to find out whether there are any nodes which the cognizance should be taken. No, we are coming down almost up to the supraclavicular region, that is the subclavian. We go back again, complete our search. It's always better to see it twice than to miss any lesion. Make your probe longitudinal and try to see whatever you had seen. We had seen certain nodes here. Just confirm that this is a big node but shows normal characteristics, and then just scan them, and there are no significant nodes. A quick look at the other side, because sometimes you can have concomitant pathologies. So see, sometimes the patients may not undergo CT scan before going a hemithyroidectomy. So you have to completely see neck in all aspects and give your diagnosis or findings rather, so that the surgeon is more confident in doing a surgery beforehand. So that's a jugular showing flow, very slow flow, but not of our concern. Can see that, beautiful. These are from coming back from the heart. That is the wall there. That wall is seen. These are fancy things, not very useful, but right. So we end up with this patient that there are two large nodules. One of them is at the inferior pole, has some retrocanal extension, appears solid. Other lesion is the superior at the superior pole or the upper pole, has some calcification, some cystic areas, and because of his size, it has produced certain what you can say more findings, that the trachea is shifted, trachea is compressed, the jugular vein and the carotid is shifted laterally. All these things you should mention in your report, and of course you should do the characterization of the lesion. I advise FNA, do FNA under ultrasound guidance and at the proper location of the location within the nodule. इथे झोपा आजी, डोकं इथे ठेवा. So one more lady. She appears older than other earlier patient. What is the history? थोड़ा वरती सरका वरती. ओके. किती दिवसापासून आहे सुजन? त्रास काय तुम्हाला? मुंडी नाही असं वाटते. लिटिल बिट फनी हिस्ट्री. अच्छा अच्छा बर. ओके ओके ठीक आहे ठीक आहे. आता शांत राहा, आपण पाहून घेऊ. So old lady with history of some swelling on right side. Right side. So we again come back to the basic settings. We had changed multiple settings in the earlier patient, so it is always wiser to reselect the presets on the machine, because you have made them sitting with the service personnel so that you can get maximum information. Again a midline scan. You have seen that there are abnormalities in the thyroid. अशी ठेवा मन. So we'll make the trapezoid on, and here we see that there are nodular regions in both lobes. Right appears bigger, larger, and left appears a little bit smaller. They show almost similar morphology. We can divide the screen here just for comparison, and we can see that the morphology is same. Little hyperechoic mixed lesions, multiple cystic areas, a larger cystic area here. No calcification as such. The height is not more than width, or in other words, they are not taller than wider. So composition, margins, extension outside, calcifications, all things we have seen, and we know that the score is quite low. It would be a benign category, but still, if the score is more than 3 and the size is more than 2.5 centimeters, you need to do a FNSC. If the score is 4 or more, size is 1.5 or more, you should do a FNSC. Likewise, and basically ACR Tarot has come for the risk stratification of the nodules, and it more aimed at detection of malignancies as such. Though they are rare, but earlier you detect is always better for everybody. So the right lobe in the long section shows multiple cystic areas, one large cystic area. Again, we'll try to see whether there is tracheal compression or trachea is deviated to the other side. We go to the midline, keep your probe midline, and we see that trachea is going towards left side, and then again coming to the midline. See this. So there is little bit extrinsic compression as well as shifting of trachea that you should mention in your report, because that makes sometimes patient difficulty in breathing, and that helps them, the surgeons, in deciding whether they can operate. Again, see here there is little bit retrosternal extension. We can see it better here than the earlier patient. This is a sternum or clavicle as such here, and you can see that the enlarged right lobe is extending below this level. So you can mention that there is some retrosternal extension of this enlarged right lobe. Left lobe is not much enlarged. So here we can mention the nodule 1, nodule 2, nodule 3 if there are multiple nodules. There is no other nodule in left side as well as right side. Make a probe launch and try to see the upper pole, upper extent of the nodule. Above that, this is the upper margin of the nodule, and there is probably something here. Confirm on other plane whether there is small nodule there. Yes, very small nodule. This one. So the numbers, their characteristics, they have to be mentioned in our report. And after finishing thyroid, we go to the right side, try to see whether there are lymph nodes, a quick survey of salivary glands also to complete our study. Again, the carotid and the jugular are deviated laterally little bit due to the large. We come back and try to see whether there are nodes. Make our probe longitudinal and again see this region for nodes. We will always see a lymph node at this place in almost every patient. The younger patient, in children, it will be almost always enlarged, but they will show always normal morphology. So you can mention in the text of the report that there are nodes there showing normal ecotexture. You may not mention in the inference or the conclusion or the result. That is it. The other side or the left side will just screen here whether there are nodes at level 2, 3. So there are no nodes. One quick run on the posterior group. So nothing significant here. So while you do a neck ultrasound, just you have to quickly scan level 6. Sometimes you can see nodes. I will show an example where there are only nodes at the level 6. Sometimes the nodes are seen in the supraclavicular region, little bit laterally, especially tuberculous nodes. They are quite common to be there at any place in the neck. So if you see a suspicious node at any level, scan all levels on all areas of the neck to see the additional nodes information. So we have done with the cases of thyroid here. Now we will do a short lecture or short talk on lymph node ultrasound.